where I want it.
They're gonna rip it off the parking.
I cost more, but I really want a Tesla, and they said I couldn't for the image, but so it's just my,
Oh, that's good.
It's great. It's California built. It's American. It's LA designed. Like it's the right car.
It's a perfect car.
It's the perfect car. Perfect. And the 3 is as cheap as like.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
They want to do the program.
Yeah, let's.
We'll take a picture and we'll come back. Okay.
And then of course,
Yeah, I'll share about particularity around second part.
Yeah. By the way, Ariana Grande actually come here. You guys just
I think the approach around equity and
and then all of a sudden you see the TSB holding with our cup. And then texting them.
And then
Unbelievable.
this is also on Beyonce's Black Parade.
Make that announcement.
If you guys didn't know that, say that again. Say that again.
This is a stop on Beyonce's Black Parade.
Yes.
So it's a big deal.
And Ariana Grande is one of our new customers also, so we blew up this last week. And now we got the mayor, I don't know if he ranks #1 on Instagram.
Have a group shot. Much bigger chest. Come into the sun. Come into the lights. Yes. Thank you. You got it. There we go. Ready? 1, 2.
Yeah, I'm telling them.
Got good life. 1, 2. Yeah. How many thumbs up can you see smile?
yes, that's true. Yeah. You gotta smile nowadays.
Right here.
Sure.
So much fun.
Customers.
But this is where you only get some voiceover.
Yes.
With our local paper.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you. Wonderful. Good to meet you. Yeah, thanks for
You've
being
been
here.
there since day one.
For sure. Well, and we'll keep bringing people here too. Appreciate you. I'd love it.
$150 million.
So David Price, who's in the pink shirt back there, red shirt, far back. I'll make sure you guys connect. Yeah,
You see him?
He's my rep for South LA too, and a pastor at First City, and a great young man. So I'll make sure you guys connect. Okay? Because one thing we're going to roll out with Councilmember Price is probably $30 million in business grants soon, directly, and we want to make sure they're getting to black businesses and underprivileged businesses grants.
I also want to talk about community policing.
Yes, absolutely. Feel you. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll give you a stand in front of me. I can go right over top.
Okay.
No, he's not.
He is.
He's gonna sanitize. He's gonna go good.
Check 1, 2, 3. Check.
Thank you very much.
Check yourself.
We all set? Everyone, if you can silence your 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello, Los Angeles. It's Mayor Eric Garcetti here with Councilmember Marqueece Harris-Dawson and some very important guests. So excited to be here at the South L.A Cafe. For those of you who are the initiated, you know what an amazing place this is. For those who haven't heard of it, come on down here. And we are here being hosted by South L.A Cafe to launch phase 2 of our L.A Al Fresco program, helping people in the midst of a crisis not only get out there safely, help us continue to bend the curve in COVID-19, help local businesses, and in this case specifically black businesses as well, but help people get outdoors, create jobs, create some prosperity, and make sure that we're all healthy here in LA. Before we get started, let me acknowledge the partners that have made this possible. I already mentioned him once, but let me mention him again. Our champion here in Council District 8, a great leader for Los Angeles, Councilmember Marqueece Harris-Dawson. I also want to thank Celia and Joe Ward-Wallace, who are the owners and creators of South LA Cafe here, and they've been leaders for a long time, both in the city and in the business community here. Also, another angel in the City of Angels, Edgar Campos, who leads Trust South LA, which is an organization that's been looking at economic empowerment, combating racial inequality, and making sure there's true economic opportunities for everyone here in South LA. I also want to thank, and I don't know if she's here, but LA DOT General Manager Selita Reynolds and the entire LA DOT staff, Your Department of Transportation has made this possible. And our teams at Streets L.A., Bureau of Engineering, the Department of Building and Safety, and Department of City Planning, they've all worked together to reclaim public space for all of us. And we're here today because this is a business, is a place where people from all across South Los Angeles and across Los Angeles come together, not just for coffee, but for company. Not just for food, but for friendship. That's what a cafe is all about. It's why we love this city. A chance to meet our neighbors, maybe to introduce ourselves to a stranger, maybe even a conversation that leads us to fall in love and find our partner in life, a business opportunity, a neighbor we didn't know that lives down the street. That's what cafes do for all of us. And in a destination that even in a moment of upheaval, even in a moment of feeling ungrounded, this is a place that regrounds us and positions us to win that future. This spirit has driven South L.A. Cafe's founders, Celia and Joe Ward-Wallace, to continue serving their community. They're providing free resources like bags of produce to their neighbors who are in crisis. And that's why we're here today, to send a clear message to business owners. We know these months have you tried and tested, but we are here to help you get back on your feet. For me, my grandfather was a resident of South Los Angeles and had a small business. He was a barber here in South LA. I wouldn't be here today were it not for the opportunities he had as an immigrant who came here as a baby in his mother's arms after losing his father during the Mexican Revolution. Here in South LA, my father grew up alongside Japanese American neighbors, black neighbors, Latino neighbors, and Anglo neighbors at a time when South LA really was that place of opportunity for everyone. But for too many decades, we haven't seen the investments we need. And L.A. Al Fresco here in South LA, though it's for all of the city, is that opportunity to say, what are the resources that we have and how can we better utilize them? One of those resources, great weather and open space. So we're offering streamlined, no fee, I know that's not something you usually hear from government, no fee, temporary permits for outdoor dining on sidewalks and private parking lots. And so now we're entering phase 2, empowering businesses to set up outdoor dining on curb sites and closed streets, giving permitted sidewalk food vendors and food trucks equal opportunities as well when it comes to reopening safely. I've been talking a lot about COVID-19, and I'm not going to miss this opportunity to say this is a really critical moment. Even as we open up more, you've got to do the 4 things that will help us continue to stop the spread of COVID-19. And we're seeing some worrying uptick, especially among young people 18 to 40 years old. Make sure you're wearing your face masks, make sure that you are keeping physical distance, make sure that you are washing your hands, and make sure whenever you can that you're staying at home. But go out if you can, to neighborhood businesses in the area that you're around, places like South L.A Cafe. And I know that COVID-19 has changed things for everyone in our city, but we need to make sure we look at that through the lenses of who are the hardest hit. More Black Angelenos are losing their battles with COVID-19, but we're addressing that with the first racial equity officer around that in the entire country. We've already cut by 2/3 the disparity of Black Angelenos who were dying at twice the rate of their population when we first got those statistics from the county, by putting testing where it needs to be, by advertising in local papers, and making sure that the Black community knows that Black folks are more vulnerable to death from COVID-19. And that's great work that the City Council has done, that our public health professionals have done, and that we're doing too. We're looking at those frontline workers, Black and Latino workers, who are the ones still showing up for essential work, cleaning hospitals, at cafes, in neighborhood grocery stores, and making sure that we have the protection, as well as our lowest income Angelenos, who have suffered the most by standing up a $100 million assistance program starting next month for rent, and already the tens of millions of dollars we put out in cash assistance regardless of your immigration status through the Angeleno cards. But we still know that many sidewalk vendors face a lot of barriers as well to operating legally in our city, like fees that are especially difficult to pay right now in the midst of a pandemic, and permitting and equipment that be challenging to them as well. So at every stage of the COVID-19 crisis, we're trying to look at this through the lens of equity. There's no safety without justice. There's no health without equity. And that's why I'm directing L.A. Al Fresco to prioritize resources in communities that have been the most hard hit first, so that they can have the opportunities to get up and running. I'm committed to continuing our work together hand in hand with the City Council, with advocates, with neighborhood groups, with local chambers of commerce, sidewalk vendors, and sister agencies inside the city and the county and beyond to make sure that we address the unique challenges that are faced by our street vendors. And while we're also earmarking more than half of all resources and applications for L.A. Al Fresco to businesses owned by Black and indigenous people and people of color, or businesses in areas that have suffered the greatest job loss in LA first. It's time for us to make that movement before everything else. So phase 2 of L.A. Al Fresco is here for you. It means more food-related businesses will be able to serve more customers in more places that keep everybody more safe. So if your business is eligible, we'll give you free traffic control equipment like the barricades, planters that you see behind us, access to pro bono design services as well from local design and landscape architecture firms who have stepped up, and thank you to them, and to help express the character of your business and your unique neighborhood. We're really grateful here to Gregory Williams of Mass Architecture and Design and Studio MLA, who have partnered with South L.A Cafe on this beautiful space, and they stood it up pretty quickly and very beautifully, I need to say. And yeah, give them a round of applause. They did an amazing job. And this program temporarily suspends the need for businesses to apply for a permanent permit. That's the last thing you need to be stressed out about right now, and we in city government get that. All you have to do is apply to L.A Al Fresco to be able to run an outdoor dining program for the duration of this program. And these resources are available right now. So if you know somebody or you are somebody, contact LA DOT and Streets LA that are reaching out right now to brick and mortar business owners and street vendors to let them know about the program, and apply at coronavirus.lacity.org/LA Al Fresco. So we've been here for businesses since the first day of this pandemic, handing out business loans, soon rolling out with Councilmember Price, who chairs our Economic Development Committee, business grants as well, more on that next week. And as our city faces new challenges, we will be here to try to make things easier for business, to make sure we don't lose those indigenous businesses that we have, to make sure that you can hire your employees, you can keep your customers safe, and that we can see an LA reborn out of these ashes. With that, let me bring forward somebody who has committed his life to the justice on the streets of Los Angeles, who, as I mentioned, has been an amazing council member in the heart of this city, but who also has been a city-wide leader throughout all of the challenges we face of this health pandemic, this economic crisis, and this moment to finally achieve racial justice in America. Please welcome your council member for South L.A. Cafe, Marqueece Harris-Dawson.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Muffled between the masks, but I'm happy to be here at South L.A. Cafe with everybody wearing their masks. This is such a special place for all of us here in South L.A. I think this is my favorite coffee shop on Western Boulevard. So it's good. We appreciate this place, and this place has been central to the community. We all sojourned and watched as you all built this building. We'd stop in and Joe would be in there doing floors, and the next day we'd see folks working on decorations, and they built it from the ground up from love, and now it's gotten attention from Ariana Grande, comes here and gets her coffee. This location is a part of Beyonce's Black Parade, so we got several locations in South Los Angeles, but this is one. And this is a business, but also an organization. So when COVID hit and there was the stay-at-home order, we picked up the phone and we said, we need local restaurants to deliver meals to our seniors because we don't want them to have to leave the house. South LA Cafe raised their hand first. They delivered hundreds of meals. They even changed their menu so that seniors would have things that they like. So I think they deserve a big round of applause. I also want to give a big shout out to the coolest big city mayor anywhere in the United States, our own Mr. Eric Garcetti. Let's show him some love. He makes being a council person something you could be successful at. I was just joking that when they were building the cafe, the sidewalk was all torn up. And I said, I promise you I'm going to get the sidewalk taken care of. And we went to the department and they put us on a list, and that list was a little long. And we went to the mayor, and the mayor said, we're going to make it happen. And so you can see we have al fresco dining, sidewalk dining on new sidewalk. Finally decided that they'd had enough of seeing black bodies die at the hands of their interactions with police officers. And we heard protests all over the world, but especially here in Los Angeles, demanding that we do better, and we do better right away. I'm happy to be at this cafe, because this is a cafe where folks came to organize before those days happened. And so when you come to South LA Cafe, you can get a good cup of coffee, you you might run into Beyonce, and you're very likely to get a pamphlet about coming to a protest or a march. And so, as a city, we want to do everything we can to facilitate this work, and we want all of our restaurants to be able to take advantage of this program. The only thing I say is I'll follow up on the mayor. All my restaurants, don't just throw some tables and chairs outside on the curb or on the sidewalk. Call the city. We'll help you with an architect. We'll help you with design. We'll help you with safety equipment so that it's done in a quality way and in a way that we all deserve. And lastly, I'll say keep an eye on the LA City Council. We're working on a motion now that will free up some space in some of our parks. So we have Martin Luther King Park right across the street. We have a lot of restaurants on this row. We call this the International Restaurants Row. For those that don't have sidewalks, we want them to be able to use space in the park, maybe 1 or 2 days a week, where they can serve their wares. And so we can keep our businesses, we can build our relationships, and we can continue to fight the good fight to have the kind of city and community that we all deserve. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to the mayor, but most of all, thank our good friends at South LA Cafe.
You want to introduce them? Know what the story was?
Yes, the family that brought forward, that birthed the idea, that had the vision to bring forward South LA Cafe. I'm gonna call him up first. Yeah, I'm gonna put him on the spot.
You know how I go.
In the neighborhood, we call him Firefighter Joe. Let's give him a big round of applause, our founders of South LA Cafe. I'm gonna do you the favor of letting you introduce your wife.
There you go. There you go.
You're a pro.
Thanks. Yeah, exactly. Save the best for last, my wife. You know, where do I start? I was thinking about what am I going to say today. Well, I still don't know what I'm going to say, but something's going to come out. So be prepared. It's going to be good.
From the heart.
From the heart. Golly, I'm not going to get emotional. They said to me, I remember, I'm just going to go to a story. That's the best way to do this. We'll go to a story. I went into a friend of mine's office, Councilman Marqueece's office, and I remember this one thing that just stuck out for me in our hour conversation, and it was, how are you going to make some money? I told him about this whole idea. I told him how my dream of bringing the community together, building this place, and they will come. And the last thing he said to me, how are you gonna make some money? Which I appreciate. And now that the community has come, I don't worry about that anymore. I don't even think about it. The bank account empties every week. And what keeps happening is the community, just what I wanted, keeps coming back. We've been through not being able to build this place, to be able to close it. We've been through where are the customers a couple of days. We've been through COVID, or not finished with it, but all of those things, and South LA Cafe is shining through it. And only shining through it because of this community. This community I've been here all my life, and I'm overwhelmed with the response of this community. When I'm low on milk comes out of nowhere. When I'm thinking about, when this program is over, feeding the seniors, which thank you, Councilman, I really appreciate that. It was a brilliant idea. When that program is over, how am I going to continue that? And what does that look like? So I came up with my box program, my grocery box program. If you look on my website, you'll see what it's doing. It's either buy a box or sponsor a box. And I said, how am I going to get these to people? I really said that. And out of the blue, we get cars donated by our Motion car share. That's the kind of stuff that's happening. That's what's happening on this corner. If you haven't heard about us, we're South LA Cafe, and trust me, you got to be a part of us. You're in this community, you got to be a part of us. And it's not about how successful I am putting up South LA Cafes all the way. It's about this one right here on this corner that I won't say no one, that I got so many naysayers saying, this is not a good spot, Joe. There's too much going on down the street. It's a terrible location. And to those naysayers, here we are. And to finish it up, because I could be all over the place. I got so much to say to you guys in so little time. I'm gonna introduce you to my wonderful wife and the partner in all this, okay? And you'll see that she speaks more to the details than I do. But Los Angeles, I want to say this. I born and raised in this city, did everything in this city. I love this city, and I wanted us to have a place to bring you to communicate with one another more, and this is the cafe, and it's happening. Come on down.
I want us to be up here together. Well, for a man that didn't know what to say, he's pretty amazing, right? Do you see how brilliant he is? I'm so proud of my husband. I just did a talk today to 60 nonprofit executives through the USC Civic Engage Department, where I taught a class about finding your why and the importance of having a why in everything, your own personal why, your work why, your community why, and really trying to invigorate them and wake them up again to why this moment in history is the why we've all been waiting for, right? And it's the perfect pivot for us all to wake up and make sure what we're doing is as impactful as possible. And so for me to get to see my husband so aligned to his purpose and living his why, and me be by his side through it all, it doesn't get better than that. But I do just want to say, we are locals. We are from the community. We live a stone's throw away, thank God, because we go back and forth all day long, getting avocados, getting milk. Our kids are home homeschooling, right? So we're back and forth all day long. We're from the community. I see some of our neighbors in the back there. How you guys doing? Thanks for coming to represent. And when we started this, it was out of two issues we saw in our community. We saw that there was rising gentrification and rising commercial development. And the people in the community were speaking out about the fact that they didn't feel represented. And they were concerned that there was not going to be a place for them anymore. And we all were concerned that there was nowhere to go to get fresh, healthy, and affordable food living in the middle of a food desert. So while you can handle my germs, right? You got it?
I want to represent Chappelle.
Okay, we'll put that on there. Dave Chappelle gave Joe this mask, so he's representing Dave Chappelle here today. But while right now it's so-called hot to fight for racial equity and injustice, our family's legacies have been doing that for several generations, and we have been committed to it from the day we were born. And when we created this space, South L.A Cafe, and our market, South L.A Market, we put ourselves out on a limb to just literally not know how it's going to happen, right. But say as leaders and as residents, as stakeholders in our community, if not now, when? And that this was part of our why. We were here to serve our community and feed the people and create a gathering space that was centered on cultural preservation and upholding the lives and the safety of Black and brown people in particular, and indigenous people. And so that was the creation of South L.A Cafe. We opened in 2019. It was a huge hit. And then COVID hit. Revenue dropped 50%. We literally
70%.
Well, 70%.
I got the numbers.
We had to furlough the bulk of our staff. We took literally one day off to figure out what the game plan was going to be, how we were going to pivot. And luckily, we've been together for 23 years and we've done many businesses together. So we knew we had to be resilient and pivot. And we came up with launching an online ordering app where people could just drive up and get their food. The next day, that was up. We worked with Councilmember Marqueece to talk to him about what was he going to do, because we wanted to be a part of whatever he was going to do. And we got in on the emergency senior meal program. And then, as Joe said, we started to create our own grocery boxes because we realized that our community was the most at risk and most people did not want to go to the grocery store. So through South LA Market, we started the $35 South LA grocery box that you can buy or sponsor, which is on our website, southlacafe.com. One more thing that we did that we feel was innovative is we went to our community and asked them to support us. We asked them to invest in us. We said, we just need you to send $5-10 a month and as a community help support this movement, help support this mission. And so we were gratefully supported by hundreds of community members, and they helped us bridge that gap over the last 3 months to get through. And now we're on the upswing. And now our grocery program is booming. And now we have partners coming in to help us expand it. And now we know that the roots that we have put down in the community and the relationships that we've built with the people who have the power will take those resources and help reinvest it into our community, but into businesses like ours that are committed to fighting for racial justice and equality from day one. And so we're so grateful to be here. And one thing that is really important for us.
Giveaways that we've been doing, 150 bags.
We've been giving away 150 bags of food a week. Joe wants me to tell that part.
To make sure that we're feeding the community.
To make sure we're feeding the community. That's been in partnership with Cedar Sinai. So
Right.
we just want to give Cedar Sinai some love. Emmanuel Presbyterian Church, they sent a grant our way so that we could feed 600 people in the last month. So every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, if you follow us on Instagram, South L.A Cafe, South L.A Market, you'll watch our lives. We literally, in 25 minutes, are giving out bags of groceries. They're gone. We have a line of people here. We have cars coming up. And we have so many volunteers. That's just the other thing I wanted to say.
Right.
For people who want to sort of
I love
see...
you remember everything. Go.
For people who want to see the silver lining in some of the good stuff that's happening right now, we have seen an influx of people wanting to dedicate their time and their labor to be part of something that matters. And so we've had literally 20 to 30 people every week, almost every day, coming in. They don't care what they do. They mop, they sweep, they lift boxes, they make bags, and we've needed it.
They clean bathrooms.
They clean bathrooms.
It's crazy.
But the last thing to say is about this Al Fresco program is we've heard so much about opening up. And Joe and I have been wearing our masks and our gloves and our sanitizer from like the minute we saw what was happening. We knew where we were going with this, and it was scary when we had to close and go to takeout only, but it's actually allowed us to be innovative and come up with new ways to serve our community. And so there has been a blessing in this time of hardship. And this program now about setting up outdoor dining through the Dine Al Fresco program is beautiful because we are not ready to open up inside. We have the most vulnerable population here. We want to protect our people. We don't want everybody coming inside and sitting without masks. But now we can open up even bigger than we have before and have an outdoor space where people can come and enjoy themselves. Get our great avocado toast that everybody loves, our vitamin C immunity shots, our amazing coffee, and just be a part of the culture, right? We're here for the people, by the people, and we're just so grateful that we're getting all the love and support that we have. Yes.
That's southlacafe.com. If you didn't hear it the second time, southlacafe.com. Okay, thank you both so much,
Thank you.
Celia and Joe. And finally, I'd like to bring forward a longtime leader in this community whose organization has provided critical outreach to our vending community during these very difficult months, who have done so much to try to keep affordable housing, who've looked at open space, economic opportunity. But Trust South LA has been led by a dynamic executive director. We're so pleased that he's here. So please give it up for Edgar Campos. Give it up means clap, you know?
Thank you. What a humble opportunity and a privilege to serve. I want to be thankful to everybody for being here. Any day that we are civically engaged in South LA is a real privilege and very exciting for me. The way that hopefully our new VP Karen Bass taught me, and the way that my former boss at Community Coalition, our council member now, Mr. Harris-Dawson, taught me as well. I also want to be very thankful to the mayor, in particular for your coming work around this equity directive and the positive impact and the work that Brenda Shockley, another person knows me since I was 13, is going to be leading. So we're very thankful, and I stand on all their shoulders and yours. We're very appreciative of that. Thank you for the introduction to Trust South LA. I'll sort of skip that. And yes, we've been working on COVID-19 relief work along with the meal program and the gift cards. We're also the first South LA Slow Streets program in the neighborhood. So, you know, my role here today is really to be thankful for the opportunity to lead, for the opportunity to tell the mayor that we are thankful that not only are businesses that are thriving, that are great, like South LA Cafe, which I love and I frequent, that we're also including the informal community, so to speak, right? For a long time, South LA, but many parts of our great city have found ways to include people that maybe are on the margins in different ways. though the permitting process we've learned is a challenge, and we're going to try to work with the city hall and with different parts of government to have the flow be better. We are always excited for forward movement, and in this case we wanted to be thankful to the mayor for including vendors in this process. For anybody that's out there, if you're a vendor, if you have a permit, you're going to be able to do the same thing that any one of our businesses that we just discussed is able to do. So more than anything, I'm here to say thank you for that effort. We are appreciative. So you're going to have men in the streets and the women in the streets selling sandias, but also being able to put, hopefully at safe distances, tables and chairs in the same way that we see our sort of more typical businesses do. The DOT support is going to be essential. And so we're just here to be thankful and say we appreciate you, Mayor. We appreciate the work that the council members doing. As an Angelino of 34 years, I would just close with 2 points. One, be safe out there, wear your masks. And two, I would say as an Angelino, be comfortable in the uncomfortability of progress. There's a lot of work happening on multiple layers, and we just have to be okay with that. That is what, shaking the pot, milk, what is it? Stirring the pot looks like, that's what it feels like. The status quo is comfortable. So let's be okay with that. Thank you so very much. Have a good day. Edgar Campos, el director ejecutivo de Trust South L.A. Más que todo vine a darle las gracias al alcalde por el programa. Lo que vamos a estar viendo con el programa de Al Fresco va a ser que también los negociantes ambulantes van a poder agarrar un nuevo permiso, van a poder obtener un permiso para poder tener sillas y mesas, de la misma manera que muchos de nuestros negocios típicos pueden tener ahorita. Más que todo, para hacerlo en corto, todo se tiene que ver con la ciudad y cómo los permisos van a ser regulados de una manera que también ustedes tengan esta oportunidad igual, gratis que cualquier otro negocio. Vine aquí a darle las gracias al alcalde, a Councilmember Harris-Dawson, para lo mismo, y decirles a todos ustedes que estamos buscando maneras de incluir a toda nuestra comunidad, sean hispanohablantes, sean parte de la economía informal o ese tipo de tal vez conceptos que usamos a veces para hablar sobre la gente que igual como todos nosotros solamente quiere tener su sueño americano, como todos los que hemos venido aquí a este país a triunfar. Gracias.